I'd say. So we haven't seen Holtman take his place. There Holtman is, taking his place at the table, and using his beer pomade token jar. Some nice wooden house card. Everything to intimidate the opponent, but I mean, in the end, he's got that beard. He's on the less bearded side, giving Petter Åkerlund, a Gothenburg player, the opportunity to have at least some beard on his side of the
So far
table.
it seems to be the official beard is really kind of taking precedence because
Right.
the Great Beards playmat is undefeated.
Right, correctly. But now Jakob himself is one of the great beards. So
Can he nullify the power of the playmat?
I'd say it's probably even now, right, his name? And Petter has almost no beard at all. Like, I'd say virtually none.
By Swedish standards, so that's
By
probably
Swedish
still
sta-
like, what, a 3-4 inch beard?
Yeah, correctly. So I think Petter is in an uphill position, but he at least has that Great Beards playmat to sort of give him a shot in this game, I'd say. Petter is playing Tyrell Wolf, so we can expect, I suppose, Tindermarch and a lot of little lordlings, right?
I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see that. So it's going to be a serious power rush. But looking at the two paths of the players here so far, Jakob is just after beating the mirror match against Greyjoy Reigns of Castamere.
And that's Jakob Wolleman he played, and they were, both of them play exactly the same deck. Jakob Wolleman made some last-second changes yesterday, I think, and then Hultman just agreed with those changes and made them himself as well. So they have the exact card-for-card deck, and that mirror match apparently went to Hultman. This time, last time they played, I think it went to Wolleman. So they're really evenly matched, both of them. Petter, I don't really know much about his deck. He's been playing some different kinds of decks throughout the season. I've met him a couple of times earlier this spring, and he's been doing all right, I say.
Yeah,
so
and
time is started there, right?
Yeah, and as we were saying, in terms of different paths into the tournament, we had Petter Åkerlund who went against Greyjoy also in the previous round, but prior to that he had Martel, and he happened to be the player to have the bye. That's certainly very nice when you're a good player and getting the bye early on.
Right. Jakob took a mulligan there, and Petter will not be doing that because he does have the Arbor in hand. He's got a lot of small characters in hand. I can't see him mulligan.
Money!
That looks really stellar. We also see Superior Claim from there, which means that he is going a fast route. Even though he's playing the Arbor, he's trying to get some tempo in that deck.
But I think a lot of the Arbor plays really is about allowing you to bounce back after a reset or something, then just relentlessly chuck out characters.
It gives you more options, right? Then you can reset. I would expect this deck to actually play Varys as well, of course, because that's just another option when you have better economy than your opponent, better draw than your opponent. It's just it opens more doors, really. So, what did Jakob pull for his hand then? Can we have a little peek? I saw Salty Navigator there, but that's pretty much all I had time to
Are we
see.
going to get back straight into where we ended the last year's stream of Jakob hiding his hand from us again?
I hope not. So this is the setup. Little finger on setup.
It's phenomenal money on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for economy, but he does miss out on that draw.
But we've been having the discussion actually quite a bit recently with the Swedish players specifically about setting up Littlefinger, and the economy he provides you is actually quite a big deal.
Right, I do think so as well. And I know Jakob, he's been testing this so much, and he often ends up setting up Littlefinger just because the economy it's important, and he's got 3 copies of Littlefinger in this deck, so he can easily march Littlefinger in order to play him again if he likes, and you know there's many options here.
Yeah, and I think a large part of this matchup now is going to be to see whether or not Petter can protect the arbor, because like we're definitely expecting We Do Not Sow to come down from Jakob's side.
Surely. I mean, if Jakob is able to grab the arbor early on, that's pretty much game. I think there's very little you can do against a Euron grab of the arbor in an early state of the game from Tyrell point of view.
Did Petter draw all the cards?
He drew all the cards because he plotted.
No, but did he actually draw all the cards he should have? How many is he on right now? He's
3, 4, 5. I think he only drew 3, maybe.
Because he should be on 12 right now, no?
Right. Yeah, he should. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that's right. He did draw all the cards. So he's going with some early economy, more economy.
And there we go. The ability to set up 2 limited locations, and he still misses with them. So he's got to be pretty disappointed about this opening, not getting a second limited location.
Right.
Considering he had the Rose Road in hand at setup.
But this, like playing the draw here.
How much of that is the annoyance of not having had a second limited location? He doesn't necessarily want all those cards right now.
Yeah, exactly. And also, nullifying the Rose Road makes it so that if Jakob is able to pull off a We Do Not Sow, I don't think Jakob has one in hand though, but if he's able to do that early, and Petter surely doesn't know, that's terrible, right?
Well, he's getting ready for that. Like, he's setting up Bran now to protect the We Do Not Sow play.
Right. But again, Bran is not, he's very susceptible to nightmares, and there are lots of ways, it's just, I don't know. It's scary. I'd say scary.
I think it's a great kind of good guys deck, though. The Tyrell Wolf in the meta, like where everybody is trying to burn down their opponents or end the Game of Thrones as we know it with kind of the Martell stag decks.
Right.
So seeing somebody just play characters, do fun challenges, and claim lots of power.
It feels like the fair deck, right? Of all the strong decks in the meta right now, this feels like the one that is least oppressive and the most fair. Right. So we see a low-cost curve pretty much from Petter here, right? And I think that's pretty much what he's got.
So we're going to have big, scary monsters coming down from the Hulterman side now.
Right, but he doesn't have too many of those in hand. He's got a Victorian, I think.
Who we already agreed is perhaps the best early character.
Yeah. So I'm expecting Great Hall, and then both Great Halls knelt into Victorian for 2, which is very much value for money, right?
Yeah, because right now he's looking at 7 gold from the plot, 1 from Littlefinger, taking him to 8, 10 from the Great Hall, which will be going up to 11 then with a second Great Hall to allow him to drop Victorian and still have the 5 gold left over.
Yeah. No, this is a good play. I mean, obviously.
So that's a Victorian for 0 gold right now.
Right. I feel that's...
it's a good value.
That's good value, right? Yeah. Is that an achievement already claimed?
There is an achievement for playing a 7-cost character for 0 gold.
All right, but not a 6-cost. All right. So do you think Jakob is beating himself up not having Euron in hand here?
Yeah. So we have Samuel here with us. So he's just joining in the stream while we have a quieter moment in the tournament. So everybody's settled playing their games and not yet yelling for the judges. So hey, Sam.
Hi there. Hi, everyone. You're doing awesome work, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Fox and Vic.
All right. So what is this it for Marshalling?
Why would he leave 5 gold behind?
I don't know. But he didn't have anything big. Well, the reader, obviously.
Yeah. He wants the reader. He knows he wants it, especially with him going second.
But I'm thinking, and
newly made Lord to blow up that Rose Road essentially will make a dent in the arbor.
Yeah, but
it's not going to blow the limited.
No, I think exactly.
Yeah,
I think this is the right play because he doesn't want to overextend. Put another.
Keep himself safe against the Valor.
Yeah, and put some saves on the table. And what is this? All right, stealing the arbor next turn.
Yeah, the sea wench, just to keep it PG for our US fans.
Well, all right. I said that you might find it troublesome to keep me in line here. But
Yeah, but we have to bear in mind
I haven't cursed that much, have I?
This is being streamed, we have to assume, around the globe. I mean, there's a minimum of what, I'd say 20, 30 gaming stores that got to have us on stream right now.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
so challenges
in a
coming
just
across.
Yeah, sure.
Challenges coming across, and we have. Did we miss something? Why do we have a knelt aria here?
Challenges.
Oh, so this is the challenge from Petter. All right.
It is often the phase people go into after Marshall.
You're correct. So, is he going to give this unopposed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it'll be stealthing the Salty Navigator. He's certainly not going to waste Victarion on this.
It looked like he was stealthing Victorian, though, because he was about to oppose with the Navigator. So I think he might have stealthed Victorian, actually.
It seems a little frivolous, actually, using... Like, why would you not let the Navigator go?
I don't know.
This is Jacob.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, Jakob has a plan. Like, just assume that the plays he's making are good ones. Because there's no way he's not thought this through. He never just makes things.
Many steps ahead.
Yeah, it's frustrating playing against him often because he's just like so many steps ahead of you all of the time. Sometimes he does get himself into traps that way because he's overthinking things and playing more simple-minded opponents like myself. He sort of outguesses me, and then I just do the stupid thing and all his thinking half a naught. But mostly he's just on the money. So Petter passes challenges because he has no green icons. And
He does. The lady who gives him
all right, yeah, but he wants to defend it.
He wants to avoid that range trigger.
Yeah.
He wants the losses to be considerable rather than catastrophic.
Right. And we have claim, and he's got plenty of cards. So that's one of the superior claims. Got to be nice for Jakob to know that one down. Military challenge is going to be unopposed.
So I assume he claims one of the discounters here.
Yeah. It's got to be.
Yeah, and then Victarion swings in for the power.
Right. Kneeling down Bran, or actually Bran is opposing. So
it makes no difference. Like, he would have been knelt with Intimidate anyway. So it keeps one power.
Right, and he gets
and leaves him back to gold for
dominance for Jakob. And on to next turn. So these board states are significantly favouring Jakob, right? Even though we got the money on Petter's side, I don't see many cards in Petter's hand that will significantly alter the balance of the board state.
We have to wonder if he's actually playing a mini curve with the characters we've seen, or if he just hasn't seen the big characters yet. Because we'd very much be expecting Renly, we'd very much be expecting the rest of the big renowned lords coming in.
Well, he's got maybe the most one of the best new cheaper characters in the game, Sir Garland.
Yeah, right.
Four cost renown with a duplicate in hand.
So he gives you good options actually in a situation like this, where you're stuck with potentially more money than you can meaningfully spend on things.
Exactly.
Where you can play him as a big character and just have him stick around until he's more useful for something.
Sure.
Right.
And I mean, just having renown on a forecast character is just very good.
And but then again, we also saw Marjorie there, so he's got two characters in hand meant to boost people strength. So that sort of looks like he's at least playing. You would expect him to at least have Randall, right, in the deck.
It has to be. Like, there's no way a deck like this is played without Randall.
Why wouldn't he have?
Especially because we've already seen Core Marge.
Yeah.
Big Marge, maybe. Well, there we go. The big renowned guys are coming down. He's got the option to put down two renowned characters this turn. He's got the option for superior claim and really kind of make a jump up the board.
Right. But he's putting Sansa at the top of his deck, so that looks like he's thinking about playing Sansa.
Well, he does have the All Men Are Fools event in hand, so he probably wants to put a couple of ladies out there.
Right. Yeah.
And then just
Eleanor.
go for the rush.
Is she a lady?
She's a lady. Yeah. She's Eleanor. She's there.
Arya's
Got Arya.
lady,
She has Sansa in hand.
Sansa's
Marjorie.
And then Marge. So he's probably going for those cheaper characters, right? No, this is where it gets scary because you're on the board. The arbor is up for grabs, right?
Once you can burn it down.
Yeah, you got to burn it down first.
Yeah. But there are easy ways as of right now to get that green unopposed, right?
But you can see him shake his head in disbelief.
Yeah.
We just saw a Counting Copper's turn on which a Euron, an Iron Throne, and 2 additional cards got played.
Right,
The
right.
economy of the Great Halls is really something else. these
Yes.
days.
Yes. The Great Halls really significantly changed the game, I think, because single-handedly it brought the big characters back. They were on their way out with so much big character hate coming along, but then with Great Halls, they are so affordable that it doesn't matter that they could be dead easily. But yeah.
With
Great
the
Halls-
board state escalating this way,
Yeah.
are both players potentially pushing themselves out of the ability to use Valor?
I would imagine that. Neither of them currently. I think actually with the amount of dupes and saves that Petter has in hand, he has a lady in waiting as well.
Right.
So if he drops Marjorie, he's going to drop the lady in waiting. He's got a Sir Garland with a dupe. He has got double duped Arya.
Yeah.
So from what it looks now, well, Jacob has his Iron Mines. We don't know what he has in hand, but currently the Tyrell side is actually better
Off
set
from
up
the
for
Val.
Valor right
Yeah.
now.
Knowing
Which is
that
a bit weird.
that
Oh.
Right.
knowing actually that you've already had a save used on the Salty Navigator, is this the point where he freezes solid the Iron Mines, dupes his entire board, and sets himself up to wipe out the Greyjoy next turn?
Yeah, I could see that
Maybe,
happen.
maybe.
Could see it happen.
Could happen.
Because he gets to
We'll see.
keep a vast number of characters.
Yeah.
Right.
It all depends because Jacob is setting up with tons of cards in hand as well. So
Right. They both have
he's-
plenty of cards in hand.
They can bounce back,
They're
but
both healthy.
for a lot of it, you have a small concentration of relevant characters on the Greyjoy side.
Yeah.
Right.
Once
right.
you've taken out Euron, once you've taken out Victarion, yes, they still have cards in hand. Yes, they can still drop bodies.
Yeah.
But are those bodies ever going to be the same?
Right,
Sure.
right.
And what Petter does now as well is while with playing that milk, he also disables Victarion's ability to gain more power and thereby triggering
Saving
his
himself.
save.
Saving
So
himself. Right.
So he
So
could
it's a
disable
good
both
play.
saves on the table.
Sure.
We know at least one has been used from hand.
Yeah.
Jakob continues his 2-year streak of hiding his hand from us.
Yeah.
I think this is what I would try and push for here,
Yeah.
is drop the dupes. I'm not even sure at this point, since you haven't actually seen Randall yet, whether you drop a duped Marjorie. Perhaps you drop a duped Sansa at this point.
Yeah, duped Sansa could make more sense actually, because Sansa it takes a longer time, and the longer she's on the board, the better she does. The
Yeah.
better she performs. Even a duped Brienne could be interesting at this point, because of the renown and her potential later on in the game to do to be really relevant. So there are options here for Petter. Lots of options, really.
Yeah, in the meantime, we have an achievement announcement from the main room. Richard Walker has achieved a second achievement.
Right.
So get really stacking them up there. You have to wonder how many players actually built their deck specifically for achievements.
I believe 0 is my best guess.
Well, there's at least one I know for a fact was building their deck specifically to get achievements, which is quite
Really?
cool heading into this.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
In the meantime, we also have the viewership is up to 45 viewers. I'd say we have a bunch of Americans that are waking up right now, so I think we should look to set up the next giveaway. I'd say we scale them up.
50
No, I'd say we
viewers
go to
maybe?
60. I think it's doable.
60 viewers. Then
Yeah.
we have a giveaway again.
So I'd
more
say at the
tokens?
next at 60 viewers, we're going to have another lore quiz, and the winner will get both a set of nightmares from Fracas and some vengeance tokens. So, sorry, for betrayal tokens.
Betrayal tokens, yeah. Those are the ones we're giving away for Euro Mormont. All right, so let's see what Petter is going for here. Because he still has to marshal, and he's
Marjorie?
going for core march. All right?
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I mean, she's very versatile.
And she helps with keeping the options open for
Right.
shutting down the range trigger.
Right. And he needs green icons, because he was down to, he only had the one. And here's Garland.
With how much?
I'd say all of the much. As much as he's allowed to play.
But he has to freeze the Iron Mines, right? Freeze the iron mines.
Should, but you know. Well, how much is that? 3?
Yeah.
That's all.
It's
he
pretty
can-
big.
That well, I don't think he's bestow 3, right? So you can't
Yeah.
put more on him anyway.
Yet.
Right. So
Not
he's
until
got
the new plot comes out.
2 gold left, right? Or no? Was that 3?
Yeah, that's all the
Oh.
gold. He didn't
He did not freeze.
freeze the iron mines. It's
He
like
did
these
not
people
freeze.
can't hear us at all.
No. And lady in waiting on Sansa, right?
But
Yeah.
with these
makes
really rush renowned decks, there is a not insignificant chance he's not actually running Valor though.
Petter,
No,
you think?
I haven't seen his plot deck, but the way he's playing this deck by setting up lots of cheap ladies and like Garland and those types of characters, he is going to cash in with his big all men are fools
I think so.
swing.
Yeah.
He's going to claim 1 power for every lady.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's running Valor. I think he wants to build up an enormous horizontal board
Sure.
and
yeah.
then just go superior power,
Yeah.
all the single ladies, and then get off my table, please.
Sure.
No, it could be. Could be. So we know for sure that Jakob is playing Valar, but he's not in the position to use it at all right now. He's still
Because
got
that's
the
always such a
one
tough choice.
save.
Like, if you're stuck with Euron and Vic, who would you keep?
Yeah. And also, quite important at this point, Euron is important at this point, but in the later state of the game, Euron is not the key in this deck, in Jakob's deck. Balin is the key in the deck. The speed of Balin is... There are few characters in the game that are as fast as the big Balin.
Yeah.
So this would be a range trigger, right?
Yeah.
He will get this off. He's at
And
7.
he'd look to lock down
11.
Garland.
Yeah, he's got 11 power here.
Which
Oh, sorry,
cannot be
11
stopped.
strength.
Yeah.
This is an 11 strength
Yeah.
intrigue challenge.
So he can block with both ladies.
Yep.
And
But
he
that
can
still
use
triggers Reigns.
he can use Garland.
Garland on. He forces him to use Garland.
Yep.
Which
Garland
is-
twice, wow.
Thrice.
Oh, he just wants to use the one lady. So he uses all of Garland's bestow to block this rain.
Yeah. She's at 9, right?
Yeah, that
Yep.
puts her at 9.
Why
Still-
not try
Jakob
using
still
him
wins.
twice to go 7-11?
I don't know.
Have one holding back. And
Well,
one-
he has the
he
has the fleet,
Yeah,
the
the
boats.
boats.
Yeah. So
But
But even to make him kneel the boat, use the 9 first,
yeah,
force
Sure.
him to use the boat, and then use the spare one.
yeah. I don't know. It's just tough. And he has to discard. He pulls Lady
Sansa
Sansa
Rose.
Rose. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's also
And I
tough.
think a second superior claim. I think
Yeah.
Lady Sansa Rose was actually the mill.
Yeah.
So the second superior claim is gone. So
Yeah.
it's
This
actually
is-
quite some fortuitous pulls here for Jakob.
Yeah,
For
he's
sure.
slowing down Petter significantly with those pulls, I think.
He's trying to see if his power will be sufficient to actually defeat the Great Beards of Westeros playmat. Now, when you were designing these, Samuel, like, did you consider kind of the relative power of them? Because we're in the 4th round now, and the Great Beards playmat continues to be undefeated.
yeah, there's definitely a lot of that thinking goes into the playmat. I think a playmat has to be ideally a playmat has 2 functions. It gives you the confidence and the moral boost
Right.
to play your game, follow your game plan,
Right.
and it's also well, kind of the doubles the effect on your opponent. It can trigger depending on the current mood your opponent is in. It might now. I see Petter does a huge mistake here of covering the eyes
Right.
of Roman,
Yeah, that's really
the beard model.
problematic. And we can
Um,
only see parts of the beard anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, he
it's,
does leave that important part. So
yeah,
he
yeah.
chooses between am I covering the eyes or the beard, and he
Yeah.
chooses the eyes. So, well, that's his choice.
Right,
It's a risky one, but Petter's a good player, so probably knows what he does.
Yeah.
He's actually a great Bears of Westeros listener, so I know
Right.
he's taking
He-
quite a few
he
hints from
knows
us.
of these things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure
he's,
does.
he's
He sure
aware.
does.
And here we see the play with the
Yeah, there it is.
All the single ladies.
all the single
Yep.
ladies getting
It's just a ton of
power.
power in one.
Right.
And Renown
Chalice.
coming on as well.
Yep.
So we have been spreading irresponsible rumors that one of these Great Beards playmats is going to be going on a giveaway at some point.
Oh my, that's entirely possible.
It's entirely possible. Would you say within the next 2 days?
Yeah, I mean, if it goes, it's
If it
definitely
goes.
2 days.
Within the
Yes.
2 day span. All right. Yeah. So that there you have it, listeners, from a very reliable and more responsible source than us.
That is
Yeah.
some serious jump of the power, though.
Right.
Like when we
right.
see so many tokens just swinging across,
Yeah.
and Jakob is really not in a position at the moment to do the Valor.
Nope.
It would take 2 power off the board. Did he take
Right.
the power for standing Sansa? He did not.
Yeah, he did. He took it.
Yeah, he did.
He
You
did.
sure?
Yeah.
I don't
Not
know.
sure.
I'm
It-
almost certain.
It
that
depends
he
on
took
if
it first
he.
and
It
then
depends on if
stood
he
up.
stacks power, or if they put them
I
2 on them.
don't think he stacks power.
Because he
I
no.
don't think he took it.
One,
I think he
two,
took only for all men are fools.
Because it would have been
8,
unopposed
9.
military, unopposed power for 2, and unopposed intrigue. So he didn't take the Sansa power.
No.
No,
that's
because
true.
That
he's
could
at
be
9.
significant.
He's got 6 power unclaimed there at the top of his board. And here we go.
Yeah, Battle for the Blackwater, throwing away
Blackwater,
all the dupes.
Throwing all the way the dupes. And this is one of the things that Jakob has in his deck that is different from most other decks. He does play Battle. And Battle is, I don't know why you don't see it more in Greyjoy decks.
Pretty good in Greyjoy because they
really
have the
good.
saves outside of
Yeah,
duplicates.
exactly.
So he's really kind of on a 1-turn timer now, and I think the power from not taking Sansa is going to be significant.
No, I think it did take power.
He did not. You could just
You
saw him
sure?
tap the card there and
All right, yeah.
rub
he
his head
realized,
in
yeah.
that ever so.
And here is a dupe on Victarion. So Victarion's staying.
So he has 1 turn
Yeah.
to do some damage.
And there's Asha. Yeah. But it doesn't look to me like Jakob is setting up for the Valor.
He really is.
You
He's
think?
got the dupes on Victarion. He's got the Iron Mine still active. He's setting himself up to get the unopposed challenges across to further reduce the board, give himself the option to not do so,
Before,
and also
right.
be able to block the power
Right.
from
Right. Yeah.
the stealth on the other side.
Right. Okay. He
Yeah.
did lose We Do Not Sow to,
Yeah.
I think, Heads, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
but I think
heads.
heads he was really hoping for a character there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To put
But-
himself within
Right.
reach of getting there.
Yeah. So we're freezing.
That is surprising.
Oh, he's not freezing the save. Why isn't he freezing the save?
I think he basically just,
He
he's
needs to-
he's
he knows he
pushing.
needs
He's
to win
pushing
this
now.
turn. He needs
He's
to win this turn.
playing the frozen on the
Right.
save would
Yeah.
only make
Yeah.
it would only help for setting up for an upcoming Valar. But
And-
he
but
intends to close.
Petter is actually getting some Valar protection here. He grabbed another Sansa. He's got an area in hand.
Allery.
He's also got an area in hand, I think. I thought
Another
I
one?
saw one. I
Let's
might
see
be
what it
wrong.
is.
I might be wrong, but no, that was not an area.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, when he was looking, he had the opportunity to grab an area.
Yeah,
I think.
keeping
that's
But
three of the
Arya,
ladies.
Arya is still duped already. So 3 of the ladies are sticking to the board anyway.
No, Arya isn't stupid anymore.
She is.
Yeah, she is.
She lost her dupe that was played, but she still has the original dupe from coming to play.
Yeah. So
Oh.
she's duped. Illyria's duped and Sansa's duped. So he's only losing 2 power at this moment.
Plus whatever it is he gains this turn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is actually tighter than I thought it'd be. This could actually be.
These
a
are some tough
closer-
decisions. That
Yeah.
milk is actually really setting them back.
Right, because that slows Jakob down considerably.
Having seen Blackwater here instead
Mm-hmm.
of confiscation, can we reasonably assume confiscation isn't in Jakob's blood deck?
I know it isn't. So yeah. Actually, I think that he's relying on We Do Not Sow to remove most of his attachments.
Oh no, the audience is correcting us here,
Yeah, it's a
saying
winner
Arya
frame.
can't be duped
yeah,
because the
both-
dupes would have been discarded by Blackwater, both of
Both
them.
lost. Yes.
All right,
Yes.
So the Valor next turn will be
all right.
horrifying.
Yeah. So we've got Asha stealthing who? He can't very well stealth. I didn't see.
Well,
him.
in this situation,
it
you'd
looked
fo-
like
you'd-
he was pointing
in
at
this
Arya,
situation,
but Arya doesn't
You
have.
should have forced the
Yeah.
You
it
want to.
on Hobber or Slobber, whichever one he is.
Yeah.
So that way Garland has to block.
This
Marge can't. Actually, the warship is frozen.
Yeah.
You'd have to use Marge and Garland,
Yeah.
which will open himself up to a range trigger.
Right. So he's yes, because it looked like he was pointing at Arya, but he naturally couldn't have been. So he pointed at the
So
brother.
Question now is, did he attack only with Asha?
Only with
Yeah.
Asha. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Petter can still pump Garland with a Marjorie to get the
Right.
power.
To win,
Yeah,
but
to
he
win.
wants those intrigue icons.
Right.
He
That would be playing right into Jakob's.
Because Jakob could annihilate his hand here.
Right.
He doesn't actually need a heads on spikes like with whatever character he's got behind.
No.
He's down to one card in hand.
Yeah.
This is not looking well for Tyrell.
No, not very well. And he needs to claim.
Inconceivable.
Well, I mean, given that it's very likely that it dies anyway next turn, you might just claim whatever is nulled.
But this is a tricky situation because you don't necessarily want to put yourself into a position where you anticipate the Valor so much, you put yourself into a situation
Right.
where your opponent does
No.
not have to play it.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Right. Definitely.
Have to keep him honest, like.
Yep. But yeah.
Oof.
Claiming Bran here is it's not optimal, is it? This is what he does. Yeah, and he has no way of getting him back because he can't play Summer, and I don't think he's playing anything that rescues things.
Why can't he play Summer?
Because Summer is loyal.
But he can play Summer Plots, so he could still play Close Call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he could play
That Summer.
and that's what I meant. I was actually talking about that. I don't think he's playing any
capital S Summer. I get it now.
I don't think he's playing any plots that bring people back from the dead pile. I don't think. So I think that's a dead Bran. Now, what can we expect from Jakob next then? Is it the Reigns trigger?
Trickery and subterfuge.
Yeah, of course, but is it the Reigns trigger before the blue?
Can we see
right?
Petter's hands? What is he
We
doing
can
now?
see.
This is plot deck. His
He's
hand
too
is a
fast.
single
He's too
card.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is too
I mean, it was
tragic
plot
there.
deck. See what he's
A black square
considering.
of tragedy.
Yeah. So I think Jakob is considering whether or not to make the blue challenge first with Victarion to kneel something. Oh no, he's milled. Forgot. So that's probably not. Then it has to be the green one first, right?
Whee!
So
He
for
goes
all
all
the
in.
marbles, getting in there with 11 again, and
So right now, again, he could stop the Reigns trigger, but for what?
it'll be a heavy block, and then he certainly can't stop the blue challenge.
We're temporarily losing Samuel again as another call for judge comes out.
Yeah.
We're hoping it's another achievement because that's the most exciting way to call your judges.
Yeah, so we have a big block from Petter here. He blocks with 8 power to 11, stopping the Reigns, but still losing the card, right?
Yeah. His final card in the entire world.
Yeah, and it's a good one. And then we have Renown on Urine, and nothing in the discard pile for Urine to grab, I think, but we should have... the pillage pool was another copy of
Marjorie.
Marge, which is fine. I guess you know that's not coming up. And then that would be power from Urine, right? Oh, sorry, Victarion. Or do you wait?
He's already taken that.
It's already made the blue?
I think he's already taken. Oh, no, sorry.
No, that
power.
was a red challenge. So this should be the power challenge from Victarion, or because there's stealth on Arya, so Arya's getting through anyway.
Thing is, he has control of the board.
Right.
Yeah, he could keep Victarion back to block the military challenge, but I suppose it doesn't matter.
Which Arya has no dupe and Arya has stealth.
No, it's from Hobber / Slobber, whichever one he is.
Hobber Slobber. Well, sure, but nah. Would you though? I just claim the shipwright.
Yeah.
I don't think Jakob minds the red challenge at this point.
Question is, what does Petter play next turn as a plot? He's already played his counting coppers, which is kind of what he'd want to go with here.
Yeah.
If you're saying he isn't playing close call, which
I
would be the
can't
other
see him
card
doing
draw.
that. I don't think he does. I have no real way of knowing, but I don't think he is. So Jakob is counting how close Petter really is to winning, and he's 6 power away.
That was a very hesitant kneel there.
Yeah.
As
Jo-
though
Jakob
at
is-
any point
it's
he was
not
planning to dial it back.
It's not really a kneel yet. He's going back and forth here.
He's just trying to see how it feels. Like,
Yeah,
I think not
yeah.
enough players actually really put the tactile
Yeah,
experience.
exactly. Yeah, it's a very tactile. You can judge from what's happening in your gut as you turning the cards, and we have the kneel here. So that's a 5 strength power challenge.
In the meantime, in the chat, we just hit 60 viewers.
All right.
Actually, we seem to have dropped back down to 59 as I was trying to copy our first clue. So I'll get the clue dialed in, and when we're back up to 60 viewers, I'll drop it in the chat for our next giveaway.
Right. So that's a 5 strength power challenge.
That's definite now, for real.
For real, because Jakob took his hand off the card. That's pretty much when you.
Oh, we're using chess rules here.
I think Jakob does.
Okay.
At least he holds himself to that standard, I think. So, do you even block that, Petter? I don't think he will. He will rather just have 2 challenges go off, right? Give unopposed to Jakob, and then have 2 unopposed heading back. It's 3 power.
I'm still thinking this through.
Yeah.
Like for next turn, our viewers are suggesting Riddle, but even Riddle here, while it will clear the board on both sides,
Yeah.
Jakob still has cards in hand, whereas Petter does not. So
And he doesn't necessarily clear board on both sides because Jakob could choose to keep just Victorian.
yeah,
Even though he's milked, he's pretty significant. There's 5 strength, 2 icons. And then another claim. Yeah.
so there's only 5 power to go for Jakob.
And it's only 4 power to go for Petter at this point, but we can only. Oh, they're actually 11 to 11 at this point, but we has to assume that there will be a Valar, right?
So what is there? We have Clash of Kings and not his own Valor.
Yeah, he's putting.
He can't play his own Valor.
Petter is playing Valar here
Why?
because I don't.
Victorian stays behind. He loses his entire board. He can't Valor.
Are you sure that Jakob is playing Valar though?
I'd be surprised with the saves and the Iron Mines if he's not.
Right.
Would you try to drop the Winter Festival for all the marbles?
I don't know. See, Jakob is not playing the Valar here because Jakob feels that it's too much of a risk, I think.
But that puts him in a truly tragic situation. He is down to no characters on the board.
Yeah.
His remaining ones are getting bounced. This is
I
all
mean, yeah,
over.
this is all over. But I think it's a good call from Jakob, of course. Playing Fresh Snow instead is just really good play. Yeah, and Petter shakes it there. Jakob has that. Really well played by Jakob. Petter came close but no cigar. Right.
And it was really those entry claims getting rid of the superior claims.
Yeah.
Because he was 2 power away if you triggered Sansa.
Yeah.
So really such a tiny, tiny margin.
Very much so. Petter came close. Petter did come close. And he did much better against Jakob's decks than I would have thought he would do. Really well played.
Yeah, so he really put himself out of that game though, because if he doesn't play Valor, he gets to
All
keep.
of those would have bounced cell.
Arya would have gone back, fair enough, but she has no power on her. Marjorie would have gone back. The others would have still had all their saves.
Arya had a power on her as well.
Yeah.
And Garland.
But they would have still
Garland
stuck
would
around.
have stayed. Garland would have stayed.
Garland would have stayed around.
Yeah.
Arya can come back next turn.
Yeah,
If he
with a
draws
dude.
any kind of
Yeah,
large
yeah,
character, I think
yeah.
Winter Festival could have given him a second chance.
Right. Yeah, you're probably right. Well, that's that, folks. You missed the end of the game.
Yeah, I realized.
So the Great Beards playmat has been defeated. How does that?
But I mean, that's only to be expected from a great
By an
beard.
actual Great Beard.
Actual great beard trumps actual great beard playmat.
Okay, so what do we learn from this?
We
You can't
learned-
fake your way.
Well, you can only
To
take your
success.
way so far.
Yes.
I mean, we saw clearly that Rabs having a bit of a beard and the bearded Matt could defeat even Evans'
Yes.
fantastic beard.
Yes. And those
But
of you
then
who
you
have
a great beard, you know?
actual great beard,
An
with capital G.
actual great beard. And Petter has no beard at all, really.
There has been a bit
That's,
of controversy, like, so we wanted to get your judge's call here.
Yeah.
Because we've said that the next giveaway is going to be done at 60 viewers. And while I was copying the clue, the viewers dropped back down to 59 players. So the question is, do we go ahead with the clues right now, or do we wait until it legitimately stays at 60?
Wow. Do you want a second opinion from me?
We
third?
do. We,
I think from
like
you,
as
like, we're
a
looking
TO,
for a
as
judge's call
TO.
here, because
What does your heart say? What does your beard say? Victor, does it itch on the left or right side?
I'm trying. I'd say my right side.
Yeah,
is
then
slightly-
go for it.
We'll go for it.
Yeah, go
okay,
for it.
we'll
go
put it in
for
the
it.
chat. All right, guys,
So
this is
we
happening
have
right now.
Yeah.
The second giveaway.
And now remember, this is for betrayal tokens
Right.
and for a set of Fracas Nightmares.
So we got these beautiful Fracas Nightmares donated by Tomas, or who gave us these?
I believe those are directly from the Fracas guys themselves. So this will be all the Polish Dons. And
Right. So a shout out to the Fracas people for handing us these beautiful cards. Maybe we should even show them on the stream here, so that you
yeah,
can
if you want
see
to throw
how-
them up there. And
I'll give you a quick view of this if I can. No, I cannot. So there you go. So we got a slight delay on the screen. Maybe in a little bit you can see these beauties. Here we go. I'm not sure what's happening with our camera here. It looks like it's stalled. A little
okay,
bit.
well, it seems to be buffering through
Yeah.
slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely. That's me making a face of being really smart with what I'm doing.
Okay.
I think you've got some shots of this.
Yeah, I think that's definitely there.
Hopefully that's enough, and we'll put the well-working camera on for you. There you go.
So the discussion in the stream room is still ongoing. So we're waiting to get Jakob for his winner interview. You really have to wonder, like, how much of this winning he's doing is to get onto the winner interviews themselves.
For Jakob, obviously all of it, because he doesn't care for these for the fame. He just cares to be heard. He's placed the games to make his voice heard into the void, I'd say, more than anything.
Okay. We have no correct answers in the chat so far.
This is a really tricky one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Should we try on through a second clue already? Because
Well, so we have several clues for the same riddle, so to speak.
yeah, each one
So-
gets easier as we
yeah,
progress.
Yeah. So maybe wait another second. Have
Yeah,
two more guesses.
We'll let a couple more people throw their in
so
there.
Lancel is not the correct answer.
And okay, we actually have a winner off the first clue right now.
Right. Good. Well played. So Acolyte,
A cloak of red.
a cloak of red. The cloak of red takes the prize. It's indeed Robert Royce. And we will be sending you some nightmares and some betrayal tokens. Doesn't sound as good when I say it like that, does it? Well, you will be receiving. Is there any way to put this where it doesn't sound like I'm actually punishing this poor guy? Well, you'll be getting these nice tokens. That's what you'd be getting, and these nice cards. See. Give it another shot at this.
Okay, where is Hulteman?
We are still waiting to get the winner of the last game
Has
into
anyone
our
actually
booth
gone
here.
to get him? I think
I've-
Samuel just wandered off.
Samuel might not have understood that that was his job. Maybe.
I'll see if I
maybe-
can bring him in here.
Right. So I'll try to entertain you with something. Not sure what. While we're trying to grab Hultman here. Um, I'm sure I'm doing a poor job of entertaining, so I'll just shut this down. Du kom så nära, Petter. Alltså, de där granklinen på din power branch. Hade du haft det? All right, so we're here with Jakob Hultman.
Hello.
Our camera is constantly freezing, I'm afraid. And we got both players for this interview, though.
Yeah, we're really getting kind of level of the tournament where they're all winners.
Right.
So with the results themselves, like, it's kind of difficult to separate just how much winning to get on stream.
Yeah.
Rather than whether we get the winner on stream or not.
And also, Petter came so close in this game. How do you feel after such a nerve-wracking game?
My pulse is still a bit high. It was actually a really, really tight game, as you all could probably see. Petter was super close to winning. And
Those discarded Spirit claims, man.
yeah, and also the missed heads on spikes was
and
pretty
then
brutal.
missed Sansa.
I missed Sansa, yeah. The missed Sansa actually...
Mathematically didn't matter in that situation.
No, but it actually would have put you in range of maybe another heads on spikes or
Right.
something like that. And also, I think it made me play differently the round after because you were not as close to winning as you would be if you triggered Sansa.
Exactly.
So it made me play differently during the
I
round
think
after.
all these little things, they add up. And I think more than anything, how did you feel realizing you missed power like that? Because you were running against time there. You looked like you were trying to get it done, right?
Yeah, I felt like that was a huge mistake. Actually, the impact of it, I think, was really, really important. Like, for Jacob, he could be able to, the last turn, just don't commit anything to defense, because he could count, I would still be 3 power away. Otherwise, he would be scared of another heads on spikes or something like that, but no. So it was a big impact.
How tough was the plot selection there? because we were kind of looking through it. We were talking this through with the audience to see if you try to riddle, if you look at your own Valor. And to be honest, like, we were very much rooting for Winter Festival there to kind of go for another chance.
Yeah.
Make him play his own Valor if he wants to get it.
Yeah.
I think the problem was if I was going to go for Winter Festival, I would lose if he played Valor.
Right.
And since I wanted, and that was also why I blocked the reins the turn earlier, I wanted to force him into a position where we had to reset.
Yeah.
The problem was that Jacob played first snow, which isn't that common. So I think if he would have only played Valor, he would probably have used Valor because it was like a position where I could actually take the win.
What the board looked like right there, obviously the first snows of winter did almost everything that a Valor would have done for you, Jakob. How was your thought process going into that last plotting?
Like I told Petter after the actual game, when we were speaking a little bit in the room there, I was the whole game. I tried to look 2 plots ahead, basically because I knew that I had to go Blackwater to discard all the dupes and then prepare for a potential first snow.
Right.
And I did that playing Counting Coppers.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had to try and bait out more of the dupes before I played Battle of Blackwater, and then I knew that I could try and reset the board somehow, which made me kind of sad because Petter found a dupe for both Elinor and for Sansa, and also 2 5-cost guys during 2 turns, which made my first snow not as good.
Not as impactful.
Yeah, so even though if you wouldn't have done Valor, you would have had 4 characters. I would have had 4 characters, but I would have lowered your power by a lot.
Yeah.
And made my, probably helped me trigger my reigns.
Right.
Bran would be gone, help me trigger a We Do Not So, etc., etc.,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah, the snowball of that.
I felt like I was in a good position coming. I was very worried that you were going to win before I managed to do first snow. That was my concern.
Yeah, yeah. And this is what we talked about on the stream, that this is the way you play, this is the way we're used to you playing, always being those 5 steps ahead kind of things. Do you feel that you often sort of entangle yourself in your own thought process when you get that far ahead?
Sometimes it's it's easy to do that. It's easy to get stuck in too many rounds ahead, especially if you're playing against a rush deck where you've seen Superior Claims, Lady Sansa's Rose, and All Men Are Fools.
Right.
So my thought process going into that last round was actually, or the last challenge round that we did was, if I go full intrigue, try to trigger reigns, I force Petter to try and kneel out, and I get to discard his last card in hand, which was super important to me, because I felt like, okay, either he's not blocking and he's trying to push for the win, but he's still like, so I got stuck up far ahead, but then it's very important to still keep focus on that round, because that last card could have been an All Men Are Fools, and then you're just gone if you don't focus on that.
Right.
So yes and no.
Right, thank you. Like, Petter, how much of you losing this game can we put down to you not wanting to get the elephant? And also, what is the elephant?
So the elephant is for my kind of meta group. We play for, on like every tournament we go to, we play for like a prize that goes between us. And it's like a golden elephant. And no one really likes it. It's more like
But that is one of the ugliest elephants ever made, right?
Yeah, it's not pretty. It really isn't. So the goal is kind of not to get it, but at the same time to get it.
Right.
So,
How tell us a little bit about the rules surrounding the elephant, because there are some very specific rules. With
the rules are actually not that complicated. Like, you have to, be the best in the tournament, and it has to be a big enough tournament for us to count it. But we also have today actually added another prize to the Gothenburg meta. We have split it up to the elephant being the prize for the Swiss win, and the new thing, we have like a feather kind of thing. Oh, it's kind of difficult to explain, but it's like the win for the cut. So no one will get it if no one gets to the cut, but
is it equally embarrassing to display?
Oh yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
Also, we have agreed to it being like the place where you have to store your power tokens when you play.
So you'll have to actually display it for your next
Yeah, you have
tournament
to
as
play
well.
display it while you play.
All right.
So
I do feel that this could have played into your last turn's decisions
yes,
here.
yes.
Is this really an active step to stop any one player from winning too much? Because eventually it's going to be so embarrassing they will not be able to tolerate themselves as a winner.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And
yeah.
with the girlfriends adding into, maybe they will start putting pressure on you not to get that elephant back home.
Well, you don't want to display the elephant. It's like.
But you have to.
Yeah, you have
kinda
to. You have to place it in a position where everyone who visits you can see it. So.
All right.
Okay.
So there you have it, guys. There are so many factors in this game to consider. You have to consider the short-term and the long-term things when it comes to card games. You can't just be like going for your first and now position, like Jakob has told you. You have to plan ahead, and we can see this coming down in so many levels here. We are waiting for the next round to be announced. And in the meantime, do we have anything coming up?
So right now, one thing we have to wonder, again, we've asked one of the Great Beards, we're going to ask this again. We have been spreading a rumor that there's going to be a giveaway for the Great Beards of Westeros playmat. Now, do you feel you're a bit unfair stepping up to defeat the power of the playmat? Because it was 3-0 heading into this match. And you had to make a personal stand to showcase that the true Great Beards can override even the power of the playmat.
I mean, we all know that that beautiful man and the beautiful car with a beautiful sunset is hard to beat. But I mean, sometimes it's just a matter of beard competition. And yeah, let me just say that maybe he should put his face in the car and not outside of the car from this point on, because there's a new beard in town.
But could that not have been like an active choice from Samuel when he produced the playmat, that this is the only way to keep the playmat fair?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a safeguard to prevent a kind of Skynet situation with the playmat.
Otherwise, it's very OP, I'd say, and might have to be restricted.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Also, I would say that the googly eyes on the three-eyed raven helped me a lot in this game.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Does restricting the playmat really work? I mean, do you
Of
have a
course.
Swedish meta building up playing with multiple playmats at a time?
No, but you restrict it at the same restricted list as the card, so you can choose from the playmat or a restricted card.
Can you restrict the beard?
No. This is if it's your own actual bid, it's not restricted, or we haven't seen that yet.
That gets a little Gattaca at
I
that
mean,
level,
of course.
does it not?
I mean, if you're looking at a guy like Ryan in the US, like his bid is so out of control that at one point it might be restricted.
Well, I know for sure that I tend to hide varices in my greasy beard.
I know.
Ryan, obviously, he collects all of his gold in his beard.
I've
As soon as he
seen, I've
plays the
heard.
Iron Bank,
Yeah.
he will just wiggle his beard
Yeah.
and it'll drop out coins.
Yeah, and you can see this, like some of the most powerful players in the world, like Evan, like Ryan, and especially those that are doing well in multiple games, have these out of control beards.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
we've seen Ryan in finals for several games now, and we've seen Evan taking, like last year, he took regionals in 3 different games, I think.
Intimidation factor is enormous.
It's just crazy, isn't it?
Okay. For the moment, I think we're going to let you grab a couple of minutes to yourselves before the next round of pairings. So
Thank
Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, we probably grab a couple of minutes for ourselves as well. We throw up 5 and we will see you very shortly.